is Beliefs, Values, and Aspirations of Aboriginal People. And I'm Pete, and I'm your teacher for the course. So welcome. This is our first class. The course goes for 9 weeks, and actually we'll probably and then there'll be some wrap up after that, so it might go into the 10th week in terms of your work. So tonight we're just going to introduce the course. We're going to get you started. So if you don't know the number to call in, it's probably posted somewhere if you're in the Learning Center. But if you want to call in, it is toll free 1-800-465-7144. That's 1-800-465-7144. Now, if you're in the Sioux Lookout area, there's a local number you can call. That's 737-4017. 737-4017. Okay. All right. So now tonight we're going to start with the study guide. So you'll need that. I think this is the study guide right here. And now if you don't have a study guide, you can get it from your DEC or you can contact me. And I'll show you my contact information. But basically you can reach me and I can always send you a copy of it if you don't have one. Okay. So we'll get started. Now we will probably just to start on lesson 1 a little bit here, but mainly this is just to kind of get us going in the class. Now it's really important that that we're able to share in this course. I think that's really, it's kind of participation. I want to emphasize that. You know, I know we're a little bit shy sometimes, and that's fine. But I would encourage you to kind of push yourself a little bit and try and participate as much as you can in the course. Okay. Now we'll get started on the study guide. We'll just go through it, and there's actually some good information in here. Okay. So in case you missed it, Dan, my name's okay. My name's Pete. Okay, and we should be going out over the radio and also on Smart Bridget. Okay, so if you have a chance, you can log into Smart Bridget, and I'll actually show you. It actually shows you how to do that in the study guide. So if for some reason you weren't able to log into Smart Bridget, right at the end of the study guide, there's some detailed instructions on how to download the software and how to log in. Okay. So this is grade 11 class, and it's Beliefs, Values, and Aspirations of Aboriginal Peoples in Contemporary Society. Okay, so what we're basically going to study is the diverse beliefs, values, and aspirations between First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people of Canada. Okay, and we're gonna examine the issues of identity facing Aboriginal individuals and communities in connection to changing relationships with the land, nature, and one another, and Canada. Basically, we're going to start by looking at our own beliefs, our own views, our own worldview, and look at some of the things that shape those worldviews, and then we're going to expand out and look at the bigger and bigger picture as we go. Okay. So now there is a textbook for the course, and if you don't have a textbook at the Learning Center, get your DEC to contact me ASAP. Okay. And for the first couple of lessons, it won't be too bad because I actually have the pages. Now, if you want to contact me on Facebook, and I think this is probably a little later anyway, I'm PW Wasa, WAHSA. So it's PW space Wasa. That's my Facebook name. Okay, PW space Wasa. And if you actually look under there, you'll see the first couple of pages that we're going to need. There's a few pages from the textbook that we will need just to get us started until we all get our textbooks. Okay. Now, if you friend me on Facebook, then I'll be able to text you. I'll be able to give you your marks if you want through Facebook messaging. You can even send me questions. The one thing I won't do on Facebook, I'm not gonna, I like pictures of puppies and stuff and funny videos, but I'm not gonna spam you with anything other than strictly related to the course. Okay, so you won't get any invites to play games from me or anything like that. It's just strictly information about this course, and you might pick up some other stuff from some of the math courses I teach as well. Okay, so and then you're also the materials you'll need is also the units. Now this course material is broken into 4 units, and so each unit has 20 lessons. Yeah, each unit has 5 lessons in it. Okay, so it's a and the course material is supplemented with some of the pages from the textbook. Okay, so we'll kind of work through that. If you don't have a textbook, you won't be missing anything, at least in the first few lessons here. Okay, so at the very minimum, you need to have this study guide, which is what we're looking at right now. So it should say study guide on it, and you should have Unit 1 of the course. That's what you need right now. Preferably, you also have a textbook or have access to one at the Learning Center. Okay. So each of the units then is made up of 5 lessons. Okay. And then what you do is you work through the material, and there's some practice assignments, some support assignments, um, and then there's at the end there's a called key questions. Okay, and you have to um, work those out, answer those, and send them in to me. And then I mark that, and that is your mark for the assignments. Okay. So the way to be successful then is to read through all the material in each lesson, and we're going to go through a lot of it in class, but really there's 9 weeks. There's only 4 classes per week, give or take, and some holidays in there as well. So we really can't go through every single page of the handouts. It would just take too long. So you will be working on your own somewhat through the course material. Okay, but we'll support you. And of course, I'm always available, and we'll get into my hours and how to contact me. I think I'm probably getting ahead of myself here. Okay, now we asked you to complete all the assignments, so there's 20 assignments in total over the 9 weeks. So that's not so bad. Okay, what gets bad is if you kind of put it off for a few weeks, then it really kind of gets intense. But if you try to do an assignment or 2 a week, then I think you'll be doing just fine. Okay. Now, if you can't get it all done in the 9 weeks, there is a little bit of time afterwards that you can wrap it up. But keep in mind, this is the last semester of this school year, so you really do want to get things done. You can't really take as much time as you would if we were doing this course in the fall. Okay. And okay, so that's it. Now it says begin work on your next lessons right away. Okay. It says do not wait until you receive your evaluated assignments from the marker. That would be me. And in for some types of classes like math, you might have to wait just because you're not sure if you had the right idea or not. But for something like this, I think you'd probably be okay to just kind of work ahead. And I'm always available to answer questions anyway. Okay. Okay. And yeah, and we will be looking at quite a few definitions in this course. So that's something that you might want to keep track of, the different words that we use and the different definitions. Okay. All right. So here's how you do it. To get the credit, we're on page 3 of the study guide. Okay. I'm just going to check real quick here. We're on page 3 of the study guide. So in order to be granted the credit in the course, you must successfully complete all the 20 key questions for each unit, send them in. Okay. Culminating activity, and we'll sort of talk about that, and then a final exam. Okay, and a final exam is based entirely off of the key questions. So if you've done all the key questions and you've, whatever mark you've gotten on the key questions, if there were some where maybe you needed some more help, then you go back and read it. But the final exam is really based on the key questions. Okay. Now, I want to correct a mistake in the study guide. I don't know how this happened. Okay, and that's my fault right there. Okay, so the classes from 8 to 9. So there's going to be 4 one-hour radio classes each week. Okay, and Monday to Thursday, not Friday. We don't have class on Friday, so just Monday to Thursday, and it's from 8 to 9 Central. Okay, and I'm not really sure. I somehow botched that. So you call in for the class to participate, and we really encourage you to do that. Also encourage you to log in to SmartBridget, and I'll explain how to do that if you haven't already. Okay, so you call in the toll-free number. It should be at the Learning Center, and or the local number if you're here in Suluca. Now you don't have to be in the Learning Center to participate through SmartBridget. So you can do it that way. It's just that on SmartBridget, you'll have to type rather than being able to talk. Okay. So here's all the contact information. Hopefully this is it. So this is me, Pete, and I just go by Pete. It has this is the number to call into the studio, so that's only during class time, the actual class time. If you want to reach me outside of the radio time, you can call me in the office, and the best time is 9 till noon, and then from 1 p.m. till about 3 or 3:30, you can usually reach me at this number. Okay. All right, and you can send your assignments in by fax if you want. You can email your assignments to me. Just get them scanned, get the DEC to scan them, and you can send them to me, no problem. Okay, you can also send them out on the Express. So the faster way is to fax them or to email them. Okay, now this number here, this is my cell phone number. Okay, and so it's 807-738-1879. So this is where you can reach me pretty well anytime. Okay, on the weekends, you're doing your assignment, you want to reach me on a weekend, I recommend that you text me on that number. You can always call me, but if depending on what I'm doing or where I am, I may not answer right away. But if you text me, I'll usually get back to you fairly quickly. If I'm in Dryden, right? If I'm going from one place to another in Dryden on a weekend, and then I get a text, then the next place I stop, I'll just check my text and I'll get back to you. All right. So that's the way it works. So the 9 till noon and the 1 till 3:30. That's if you're trying to reach me in the office. You're trying to call me. Then those are the best times to do it. Okay. But if you want to reach me any other time, you can call my cell phone 807-738-1879. Okay. And feel free to contact me, because especially if you're doing your assignments and you really want to get them done, you don't want to wait, right? So and that's what I'm here for. Now you can always email me, pwispiansky@nnec.on.ca. Okay, and there I am on Facebook, PW space WASA, WAHA. So if you friend me on Facebook, then we can also, you can contact me through Facebook Messenger. Okay. And that's private, by the way, that Facebook Messenger. So it's you don't have to worry. It's not like you're posting on my timeline or anything. A lot of students appreciate it if I send back what I do is I scan your assignment and then I send it back on the Express. Sometimes it takes a few days. So if you want to get your assignment faster, you can ask me to I'll send it to you electronically. Just send a scan. I send it as a big PDF file, and then you can open it up on your computer and look at it. Okay. Sometimes people like to get those sooner. So those are all the ways to contact me. Okay. All right. So now when we're on the air here, remember we are on the radio. Okay. And so we're going to ask that you make the best use of our time here. We basically only have 1 hour 4 times a week. It's not a lot of class time. Okay, a typical class, if we were doing this in a grade 11 class, we'd probably be having 75-minute classes 5 days a week. So, we're having 60-minute classes 4 days a week. So we got to maximize our time. So we're going to ask you to, when we're on the air, when you're on SmartBridge, so listen and participate with your teacher. So, I know we have a busy day and there's a lot going on, right? But when you're in a class, I just encourage you to, as best you can, be all in. Okay, as best you can. And we understand that if you got some kids you're watching, or if you got something bothering you, it's hard, and I understand that. So I'm just asking you to do your best there. Okay, listen and participate. Pay attention to the material being studied and participate during the broadcast rather than working on earlier assignments. Okay, so if we're going through the lesson, and we're looking at pages from the lesson, have your unit out to that page and try and follow along again as best you can. Okay. Now, not surf the internet unless it's part of the on-air coursework. That sort of fits with the first one, right? We just asking that you be engaged for this time that we're in the course. Okay. So work on current assignments when given on-air time to do so. So every once in a while, and we'll see how this works with this course, because it really depends on how many students we have, whether we're going to do this or not. Sometimes I might give you a few minutes to work on something. That's not a smoke break, okay? Really, it's time to work on the assignment, and then be prepared to kind of talk about it when we're done. Okay. Now, use polite language. Yeah, you know what that is, right? Because we are broadcast on the radio, so just be careful and think about what you're what you're gonna say. That it's a class. Okay. And then inform the teacher if you need to leave the room during a broadcast. Well, yeah, I mean, basically, I'd appreciate it. Just if it's an emergency, of course, just go and attend to it. But yeah, I would appreciate it. If you have to leave early or something, just um, send me a little note, and I'll explain to you how you do that during the broadcast. Okay. Now, I'm going to try not to put anyone on the spot in a class. I might accidentally. But if I ask you a question on air, can you just try to answer to the best of your ability? That's all we're asking, the best of your ability. So sometimes you don't know the answer. So, it could be something like, I'm sorry I didn't know, if you don't know the answer. The thing is that if you just don't say anything, then we have to wonder if the phone's gone dead, or if my microphone is muted, or we have to worry about all this technology. So just say something, even if you can't answer the question. Just say, yeah, can you ask someone else? That's fine. That's really, I understand that. Okay. Um, yeah, you might have to think about it. Sometimes the questions we're going to talk about in the course, sometimes they're pretty straightforward, but sometimes they'll be pretty deep. So maybe you don't want to answer straight away. Okay. Okay. Now, now I'm going to ask you for the assignments. Some students like to do a whole unit at a time and send in their assignments. I would recommend that you just send in a couple of lessons at a time at most, especially this course, the first few lessons, just so that we all get used to the expectations and stuff. Okay, don't wait until you complete all the lessons. Okay, what happens is if I get a big pile of marking from you, it actually takes me longer because I have to mark it all before I send it back to you. So I'd rather just have 1 or 2 lessons to marking. I can really turn that around pretty quickly. Okay. And yeah, and I need to get material on a regular basis so that I know that you're still participating, and we can make sure that you're working up to your ability. Okay. And then of course you want to, in order to write that final exam, you really have to have everything sent in. Okay, because this is a somewhat independent learning course. I'm here to support you, but because of that, we really need to have all those assignments done. It's not like you can just sort of say, oh, well, I got a good mark, I can skip a few assignments. No, we really need all those assignments done because it's part of your assessment. It's part of your final mark. Okay. And then, yeah, I really need to be able to contact you somehow. Okay, Facebook, email address, or something like that. Um, text number. Okay, so if you're not sure, you can go ahead, either ask your DEC to send an email with your contact info or something like that. Okay. Now, if you want to use a nickname, NICK on air, I have absolutely no problem with that. So you don't have to use your real name on the air or on Smart Bridget, but I sort of need to know who you are. So just send me a note, or send me get your DEC to send me a note to say who you are and what your nickname is going to be. I'll call you by your nickname on the air, but I just to be able to keep track of you, I need to know who that is. Okay. All right. Now, here's some symbols that you'll see in the course material, and so a picture of a book here, so that tells you that there's some reading that you're supposed to go do either online or in the textbook. Okay, and if for some reason you don't have a textbook and you're trying to do these readings and stuff, just let me know if I haven't already done so, and I'll make sure that you have the material that you need. Okay. Now the key, those are the questions that you have to do and hand in. Okay. So you do them up and you hand them in, and that's where you get your marks. Okay. Now there's quite a few support questions. I encourage you to do those because they will help you to understand. If you're struggling with the support questions, that would be a good time to maybe ask me for some help before you start doing the key questions, because the key questions are very often quite similar to the support questions. So you want to make sure you can do those support questions. But you don't hand those support questions in. Okay? We'll do a lot of them together in class, or we'll go over a lot of them together in class anyway. Okay? And then this person scratching her head, it says if you want to know more, it's going to give you some resources so you can go and explore the topics. This is the thing about this type of course. There's a set curriculum. There's sort of some things we're going to look at, but there's a lot that you can explore on your own. And it depends on your interest level, but it also could depend on just how how much time you have, right? And again, I understand it. Some people just don't have a whole lot of time. So this is the schedule, more or less, what we're going to do. So we're going to do the Unit 1 in the first 2 weeks, Unit 2 in the second 2 weeks, and so on, right? And then culminating activity, final exam, review, stuff like that will be week 9. Now, it is possible certainly to do the final exam in week 10 or the week after. Shouldn't be a problem. Okay, you should aim to have everything done as much as possible by week 9. But if you have some more assignments left to do or something like that, you have a little bit of time after the course is over. A week, maybe 2. If it's longer than that, then we can still arrange it, but there's a bit of, it just gets a bit more formal. If you want, say, a few weeks to do it, then we have to fill out some paperwork for you. Okay. All right. So basically, I'm here to help you get the credit, help you learn the material. Okay. So I'll do whatever I can. Okay. I think I just tripped over something. Okay. Let's take a look. These are the units, and it just shows you what the lessons are. So today we'll probably just take a brief look at the first lesson, and then we'll actually do the whole lesson tomorrow. Okay, so this is what we're going to look at, all the different topics for each unit. Okay, and you can use this as a checklist if you want. Okay. Now, there is some writing here, so this is some helpful information, just in case it's been a while since you've written. Now, I'll give you some helpful feedback on your writing. I'm not going to be super critical about it. I'm going to help you, if you're having trouble writing. So don't worry about sending stuff in, is it good enough, whatever. It'll be fine. Send it in, and if there's some feedback that I can give you, then I'll give you that feedback. Okay, I'm not gonna be super picky about your writing. Okay, you need to be able to communicate. That's the most important thing. Okay, so but this is some information if it's been a while since you've written things. Okay, explains the sentence. It has to have a subject and a verb. It must expressly complete thought. So, sentences have to make sense. Okay. And anyway, I'm sure you can read over that. Okay. They give you a couple of examples of what isn't a sentence. Okay. Now, if the course material asks you a question, sometimes students have a little difficulty kind of getting started on the answer. So one of the really useful things, and I use this all the time, is if you're going to answer a question, you use a technique called turn the question around. Okay. So, what did you do yesterday afternoon? What did you do yesterday? So if you're going to answer that, you can just pick out some of the question and say, yesterday afternoon, I did, right? And so it sort of helps you to figure out how to get started, kind of how to structure your answer. Oh, okay, I see, yesterday afternoon. So that's what they're trying to say, is just use the question itself as your inspiration for how to get started. Okay, it's a very powerful technique for answering. I use that all the time. Okay. And yeah, so they're giving you some tips for answering questions, and this is kind of useful stuff, right? And restate the question. Use actual names. Okay. Okay. Avoid he, she, it, they. So just, yeah. So use the name of a person if you're talking about a person, not he or she, if possible. Okay. And do not begin answers with because, yes, because, right. Okay. So you just really want to just turn the question around and try to answer the question, not starting with because. Okay, well, we'll practice it and we'll see some examples. Okay. Yeah. So here's a sample question. Well, you can read that. Okay. They show you how to make a good answer, good solid answer to the sample question. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about paragraphs, which is just a bunch of sentences strung together, and they kind of form a logical block, a kind of a main idea or a topic. Okay. So the elements of a paragraph. So this will help you write a paragraph because again, it can sort of be a little intimidating if you haven't been writing paragraphs in a while. You're basically going to make a sandwich of ideas. So you're going to start with a topic sentence which introduces the idea you want to talk about. Right? If you're asked for your opinion, for example, if you're asked for your opinion, the topic sentence is usually a statement of your opinion, right? Um, you know, um, maybe you're going to write a paragraph about what the best part of a cake is. What's the best part of a cake, right? You're going to say, I think the best part of the cake is the frosting, right? Okay, there you go. There's your topic sentence. Now, inside the supporting sentence or sentence is going to prop up your idea, right? So then the next sentence to support your opinion that the best part of the cake is the frosting, you could say frosting is delicious, it's sweet, it's not filling, okay? Those are, the things that you're going to talk about, right? And then you're going to finish off the sandwich with your concluding sentence to kind of wrap things up, right? You're basically going to be restating the topic sentence. I think that icing is the best part of the cake. You're just going to restate it and kind of try and tie it together with your supporting sentences. So you might say something like, and for these reasons, the icing is the best part of the cake. Okay, so there you go. And that's really how you write a paragraph. A little bit of practice, and it does get easier. So don't stress if the first few that you try to do, if you have to really work at it, that's fine. It will get easier and faster as you go along. Okay. And then transitional expressions guide the reader from one idea to the next. And I think they're going to give us some ideas. Yeah, here's some good ideas for transitional expressions. So if you're kind of stuck, if you're trying to write you've written out your points that you want to make in your paragraph, but you're not really sure how to glue them together, this is the glue right here, your transitional expressions. They glue your ideas together within the paragraph. I guess I'm talking about glue. I should be talking about making a sandwich. Okay, there are the mayonnaise and the butter that kind of hold everything together. I don't know. Maybe that did. Okay, and just to kind of help you out here, there's a sample paragraph. And this is actually pretty good. The sample paragraph, you read it over, they give you some topic sentences. They show you the different supporting sentences and how to do a good concluding sentence. Okay, this is on page 9 of the study guide. Okay, all right, let's just, okay, and this is how we're going to mark you more or less. I mean, you know, we'll mark you if indeed the paragraph does get some marks. Okay, but I'm not going to be super picky. Like you said, I want to help you. Okay. Now, we all like to use word processors, but sometimes if you're writing, it can be a little tricky because when you're writing, the little red squiggly when you've misspelled something doesn't show up, right? If you're just writing by hand. So these are some commonly misspelled words, so you can kind of read those over and see if you're misspelling them. Okay. All right. And some commonly misused words, so you can read those over on your own. It's and it's. This is one of the trickier ones. Then and then, there and there. Yeesh. Okay. So you can read those over. Just make sure that you're using those properly, and it's probably good for all of us to remind ourselves. That was on page 11. Now, this is the achievement chart. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on here, but this is really how you know, if you're doing an essay or if you're doing an assignment or something, this is really how it'll be marking you. Okay. Now, this particular one goes from low to high. So really, this is the minimum you should really be aiming for. Better yet, try to get the level for the really top notch. Okay. So for example, if you're asked something where you're demonstrating facts and concepts and relationships in the course material, demonstrates a thorough knowledge of facts. How would you demonstrate a thorough knowledge of facts if you're writing an essay or writing an answer to a question? Well, you would list a few facts. You would give a few facts. Thorough knowledge of facts. Okay, so you'd present some facts from the course material or from information that you'd accessed outside, and so you're going to try and put as many in as possible, right? That's how you get that level for the top mark. Understanding of the concepts, okay, demonstrates a thorough, insightful understanding of the concepts. So that's where you're going to really tie your answer to the course material, okay? And that's what I'm looking for, really, no matter where you fall on these levels. I'm looking for your engagement with the course material, okay? So words that are used in the course material, ideas that are used in the course material, okay? That's what I'm looking for in the answers. And then understanding relationships between the concepts demonstrates thorough and insightful understanding relationships between the concepts. So basically you're trying to tie the ideas together in your essay, okay? Or in your answer, okay? So basically the more facts you can present and relevant facts, that really is what's the key here, right? Just a list of facts is okay, but it's better that they're all apply to the question, that they support your answer. Okay. Now, where I'm not looking for agreement or disagreement, that's really important. Okay. Especially a lot of the questions are your own opinion. You're expressing an opinion. Don't express my opinion. Express your own opinion. Okay. I'm not looking for whether I agree with you or you agree with me. I'm looking for your engagement in the course material. It's really important, okay, because we all have our own opinions. So in that sense, the right answer is the one that best supports your opinion, right, based on the ideas and concepts presented in the course. Okay. So we just did knowledge and understanding. The rest of them are sort of along the same lines. Basically, you really would want to try and aim for this level 4. I would advise you to do that. Okay, so if you need some help on any of these, you're welcome to contact me. If let's say you've written an essay or an answer to a question and you're not really sure, take a picture of it with your phone and text it to me, or scan it and message me with it on Facebook, right? Or just fax it to me, right? With a cover sheet that says, please look this over and tell me what you think. Okay, so you don't have to send in your lessons formally to have me just kind of give you a quick impression and some help with it. Okay, that's important because I want you to be able to be happy with your marks, and I want you to be able to develop your skills. Okay, so I have no trouble at all looking over something before you formally send it in. And if you send something in and things kind of go wrong, no problem. You can always redo something. Okay. All right, let's talk about how we actually get on to Bridget. If you're not on Bridget already, if you are, then this will just be a review. But this will also help you if you want to get on Bridget, the online kind of component of the course. If you want to do this at home, you can also do this at home. You don't have to be at the Learning Center if you have internet access at home or in your office or something like that. Okay, some students are able to log on, in different places, or if you're traveling. So you go to www.nnec.on.ca. You click on a WASA Distance Education button that's at the very top of the page, or the menu, I guess it is. Okay, you click on that, and it actually makes a drop-down menu. This is page 14 of the course study guide. So you have that drop-down menu, and you see something called Bridget. I circled it right there so you can see it. It's in the menu. It should be the last item. Okay, so then you click on Bridget, and you only have to do this if the software is not installed. If you go to the Learning Center, it's already on there for you, so you don't have to do any of these steps. But if you're at home, you click on that where it says Bridget, and then you'll get this page where there's a big green button in the middle of the screen, Download Software. Okay, you click on that, and it won't take very long at all. It's a really small program. Doesn't do a lot of changes to your computer. You're going to get this box at the bottom. Now, depending on which computer you're on, it might look a little different, but basically you get some menu that says, what do you want to do? You want to click Run right there. Okay. And okay, so now Bridget's installed, and from now on, you'll just click on this kind of purple thing. It'll be on your desktop somewhere. If you're at the Learning Center, it'll already be there. So you click on that. Okay. Please type your name or your nickname into the top. A lot of students forget to do that. And what ends up happening is it's somebody's name, but it's not you. Right? So it makes it a little confusing to know who's in the class. So then you click on this arrow here. It says Join Meeting. It's a little hard to read, but this is the Join Meeting tab. And this says Meeting Name. You don't want to type anything in there. You want to click on this down arrow, and there'll be a list of, usually there's only one class going at any one time. There might be two. And so you're looking for NBV3E. NBV3E. And you just select that one, and then you click. Once you selected one, that Join Meeting will light up, and you click on that, and then you should be in. Okay, so remember, put your name or your handle, your nickname in there. Okay, I don't mind you using a nickname at all, as long as I know who you are. Okay. All right, so that was how to get on with Smart Bridget. Okay, now that you're on Smart Bridget, you want to be able to use the tools. Now, this is where if all you're doing is logging on with the computer and you're not calling in, you won't be able to talk to me. You'll have to use these smart tools. This little menu will be at the top. This little menu right here. Well, if you're not on Smart Bridget, you can't see it, but you'll have a little bunch of tools, And if you're looking at the study guide, you'll see a picture of it. Okay. Now, yeah. So if you want to get my attention in the Smart Bridget tools, you click on the hand icon. It's just a hand with an up arrow on it. And what that does is it just basically puts a message on my screen that says so-and-so has their hand up, but it doesn't go on anybody else's screen. Okay, so if you have, if you want to chat with me or send me a chat message, you press it looks like a little person that's on the far right. Okay, you type in your message and you click send. Okay, now what I suggest you do, really important, is after you send me a chat message, you click on that hand because that puts a message on my screen and leaves it there. The problem with sending me a chat message without doing that is that if I don't see it, it only goes by for a second. It says so-and-so sent you a chat, but it just disappears. So if I'm not looking at the screen, I don't see it. So send me a chat message and then click on the hand raise, and then I'll go check the messages. And then I can answer you back, right, by typing in. Now, when I answer you back, I have to say that that part of it is visible to everyone in the class. Okay, so yeah, so people will be able to read what you typed in the chat message. If you want to send me a private message during class, that your best bet would be to text me. Okay. All right, that's the tool. Those are basically the tools. That's really all you need. You can take control of the pen by clicking on that pen icon. And every once in a while, I might ask you to write something. It's really hard to write with a mouse. And I understand that, so I'll try and make things relatively simple for you, maybe give you a multiple choice or something if I do that. Okay, now let's talk about the WASA archive here. Okay, if you miss a class or if you want to rewatch a class, there's two ways to do it. You can go to the WASA archive. You go back to nnec.on.ca, click on WASA Distance Education, and then it'll have that drop-down menu that you saw before. Remember before you went to Bridget? Well, up at the top here it says Archive Classes. Okay, so then you click on that, and it's going to show you the different classes. Term 2B, that's the one we're in now. Okay, and then it's going to show you the timetable, right? And I think that this is the, okay, this is an example for term 2A, but anyway, our class will be down here. You just click on it. It doesn't matter which one you click on. You'll find the one that has our class code on it. Click on it, and then it'll give you a list of the, it'll give you a list of the classes. Okay, you click on that, and you'll be able to download the video. You're looking for, WMB, I think, WMV. Because if there's the other ones, you might find an MP3. That's just the audio, but you want the video version of it. So you'll download that, and then you can just watch it. Now, it might take a while to download, depending on how big it is. The other way to get the classes is to go to my YouTube channel, which is PW Wasa, same as my Facebook. Okay, YouTube. Okay, and then do a search for the course code NBV, NBV3E. Okay, that's what you're looking for, NBV3E. Do a search for that, and then you can find the YouTube video and you can watch that. The main thing the YouTube video gets you is you can only just look at a little piece of it. You don't have to download the whole thing. So that might be another way to do it. Okay, it'll usually take me a day or sometimes two to get the course up on YouTube. I have to upload them myself. All right, well, here are all the ways to listen on the radio. Okay, we already talked about the archive classes. There is a way to listen on your computer. If you have Bell Express View, you can go to channel 972. If you have an FM radio, there's it's 91.9. And again, I encourage you to phone in, even if you're on Smart Bridget. Okay. And that's pretty much it for the study guide. So I've just about used up the whole time. Let's just kind of quickly take a look at the first little bit of lesson 1. Yeah, we're going to save that. Okay, so this is Unit 1. So you should have this handout at the very least from your DEC. If you don't have it, just let them know that you don't have it, and they'll get you a copy. Okay, so this is where we're going to start. Okay, so at the beginning of each lesson, you have these learning goals, and this is really what you're going to be able to do, what you're expected to be able to do at the end of the lesson, more or less, right? So, for example, I can describe how my worldview can influence how I interpret and interact with the world. Okay, so and then it'll sort of go from there. Okay, and then there's a little block of text here that explains in a little more detail what you're going to learn in this unit. Okay, so that's really the start of it. All right. So we'll just kind of maybe spend about 5 minutes here and just kind of get started here. Okay. Now we got to talk about a worldview. Okay. And what they say in the text here is a worldview is a collection of beliefs, values, and assumptions held by an individual or a group about life, people, the universe, and the interrelationships among them. Okay. Worldview is the way people view and interpret the world around them. Okay. So let's think about just for a second. Okay. Let me ask you a question here. Okay, and maybe just think about it. What is the furthest you've ever traveled? Okay, so where have you gone in the world? Okay, have you been to Sioux Lookout? Okay, have you been to Thunder Bay, Winnipeg? Okay. Have you been outside of Canada? Have you been, say, down to the United States? Have you been to Europe? Okay, so just think about the furthest you've ever traveled. Okay. And as you were thinking about going there and thinking about what you might find there, okay, you probably had some ideas, right? Okay. So, for example, I went to Texas one time, Texas, down the United States. So I had some ideas about what Texas might be like. Okay. And when I went to Texas, when I actually got there, some of the things that I thought about it were probably right, and an awful lot about what I thought about Texas was completely wrong. It was not at all what I thought it would be. Okay. Another example is when the first time I went to Winnipeg, which was not that long ago, a couple of years ago, it was the first time because originally I'm from Ottawa, and actually that's when I say Ottawa, that sort of puts an idea in somebody's mind. So when I went to Winnipeg, one of the things that really surprised me about Winnipeg was how bilingual Winnipeg is. And in fact, they have a whole section that's pretty much sort of a French section of the town. That really surprised me. I didn't know that at all about Winnipeg. Okay, so that challenged my worldview. Okay, and that's what I'm sort of kind of getting at here, right? We're shaped by what we know and where we live and where we kind of are influenced. And this is what we're going to look at in this first lesson. What influences? What influences us, right? So when I tell you that I'm from Ottawa, and you think, oh, Ottawa, the capital city, big city, and all that stuff, but actually I grew up outside of Ottawa in a very, very tiny community, and even smaller than Sioux Lookout, And even then, I didn't even live in the community. I lived in this sort of this farmland. So, it's different, right? To say I'm from Ottawa and you're sort of thinking about tall buildings and big highways and shopping malls, when in fact I grew up in the woods. I grew up outside, snowshoeing, snowmobiling, skiing, outdoors, which, you know, again, that's my worldview. Okay, okay, so I guess just think about that. Think about maybe some of the things that influence your worldview. We'll take a more structured look at it tomorrow, and so that's what we're going to do. So we'll wrap it up here tonight. Try to get a hold of all the course materials if you don't have them already, and we'll start tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And until then, thanks for tuning in.